All right, today's lesson is about inverse matrices and systems of equations. So what we're going to learn with this very first example is how to solve a matrix equation using an inverse. Then, after we know how to do that, I will show you how to set up a system of equations as a matrix equation and use inverses to solve that. So, for our first problem, I want to know what is the solution of the matrix equation. So I have a matrix times x equals another matrix. So what I know first is that this must be a matrix. Okay? A matrix times a matrix will give me a matrix. Next, I need to find the inverse of this matrix. This one right here. And so if you will remember from yesterday, to find the inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix, the first thing you want to do is find the determinant. And to find the determinant, I multiply 5 times 2 and subtract 3 times 3. So that gives me 10 minus 9. My determinant is equal to 1. Then I know that the inverse is equal to 1 over the determinant, and then I need to rearrange stuff in this matrix. So the 2 and the 5 swap places. I change the sign of the 3's, and my inverse, when I multiply, just gives me this matrix. So now, what I want to do is I want to multiply by the inverse on both sides of this equation. And over here in step 3, it says to front multiply. It's real important that you put the inverse in front of both of these matrices on both sides. So to solve this, let's recopy my original. And I'm going to allow a little bit of space on this side. Okay, because now I want to front multiply by the inverse on both sides. So I'm putting my inverse in front of the matrix on the left and in front of the matrix on the right. Now, on the left-hand side, you are multiplying a matrix by its inverse. So you get the identity matrix, which is the same as multiplying something by 1. So basically just cancels itself out here. And I'm left with x. On this side, now I have to multiply those two matrices. So remember, you take the row times the column. So I'm going to rotate that row, the 2 and the negative 3, and put it here. And that will give me 1 times 2 plus negative 3 times negative 3. And that's all I can do with the top row. Now I have to multiply the bottom row times this column. So I'm going to get rid of my row 1 information and put row 2 here. So I move down to row 2 in my work. And that gives me 1 times negative 3 plus negative 3 times 5. I want to simplify a little bit here. And And then my answer, matrix X, is going to be 11, negative 18. That is the solution for this matrix equation. All right, so now here is one that I want you to try. Follow the exact same steps as before. You may want to pause the video. I'm going to work it, and then once you're finished, you can unpause or restart and check it with mine. Okay, so first I find the determinant. Okay, so you can see here I found my determinant. It was 1. Put 1 over the determinant, rearrange my matrix, distribute the 1, and this is my inverse. So now let's recopy my original problem. Now I want to take this inverse and front multiply on both sides. Okay, and so remember, on this left-hand side, a matrix times its inverse gives me the identity matrix, so it will all cancel. On the other side, I have to multiply top row times the first column. So what that will give me is 2 times 3 plus 3 times negative 7. Then I have to scoot over and do the top row with this column. So scoot over in my work, and I get 3 times negative 1 plus negative 7 times 2. Then I have to repeat that process with the bottom row. So get rid of my row 1 information. Put row 2 here. Drop down to row 2 in my work. Oh, let me try again. That's not right. I have to multiply 5 times negative 1. No, my brain is not working. Let me back up and try again. I'm sure if we were doing this in class, y'all would catch my mistake. But no, I'm sorry. I have to multiply the bottom row times this column and then this column. So I have to start with 2 times 5 plus 3 times 12. Then scoot over to that row with the next column. Here's where I put 5 times negative 1 plus 12 times 2. So when we simplify, I've got 6 minus 21, negative 3 minus 14, 10 plus 36, and negative 5 plus 24. So for my answer, X is going to be negative 15, negative 17, 46, and 19. I have a feeling I've missed a sign somewhere. Oh, I did, and I missed it everywhere. If you can find my mistake, you know what it is, and you've watched the video, write it down, bring it to me in class, and if it's the correct mistake, I'll give you a couple points on a test or a free homework. How's that? Okay? So I'm not going to fix it here. I'm going to let you have a chance to go back and find my mistake. And it's a simple one. I just didn't copy something correctly. So, good luck. I'm going to end this video and go to the next one.